everyone, I'm Kate Andrews, and here's a look at what is going on this week in the news. We begin in news from around the country. The president of the National Right to Life is speaking out against a Senate bill that would make it unlawful to restrict abortion services or the facilities that provide them. In her testimony July 15th at a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on the Women's Health Protection Act, Carol Tobias called the bill the most radical pro-abortion bill ever considered by Congress. The act would invalidate any state laws that prevent access to abortion. Last November, the U.S. Supreme Court upheld a Texas law requiring doctors who perform abortions in clinics to have admitting privileges at a nearby hospital. Tennessee and Utah also enforce laws on hospital admitting privileges for abortion doctors. Similar laws are under temporary court injunctions in Alabama, Kansas, Mississippi, North Dakota, and Wisconsin. Staying with news from around the country, on Wednesday, a federal judge declared California's use of the death penalty unconstitutional. U.S. District Judge Cormac Carney said that because of the lengthy delays, the state system violates the ban on cruel and unusual punishment under the Eighth Amendment. The ruling also vacated Ernest Dwayne Jones' death sentence, whose case was what brought the issue to trial. Jones was sentenced to death in 1995, but remained on death row almost 2 decades later. California currently has the largest death row with 742 inmates, more than double the death row of Texas. Carney also noted that of the 900-plus people that have been sent to death row since 1978, when the current system was adopted, only 13 have been executed. Under the current system, once a death sentence is imposed, it is automatically appealed to the California Supreme Court. It typically takes 11 to 14 years before a ruling comes from the court. Because of the delays, Carney said a crime's nature or the date of the death sentence determine whether an individual will actually be executed. He said this has created a system that serves no penological purpose. Such a system, he said, is unconstitutional. In news from the Vatican, in May, Pope Francis signed a decree confirming that a miracle attributed to Pope Paul VI is authentic. The former pope will be beatified on October 19th. The continuation of the Second Vatican Council is often seen as one of Pope Paul VI's greatest achievements. Rome Reports looks at how the pontiff managed to bring the Catholic Church into a more modern world.
Pope Paul VI was elected back in June 1963. From the very start, he faced a huge challenge, continuing the Second Vatican Council launched by his predecessor.
There were over 2,300 council fathers taking part, so having all these people agree on any given topic wasn't easy.
Dramatic social changes were developing in the 60s, and the council was trying to keep up. And so Paul VI faced a big challenge. He had to make sure he didn't exasperate divisions among bishops. As Pope, his vote was enough to make a unilateral decision. But he took a different approach. He wanted a unanimous decision.
He knew he had the last word, but he was looking for consensus among the council fathers, and basically he accomplished this. In the end, there was just a small group of bishops who opposed the decrees.
The topics they were tackling were quite controversial. Everything from interreligious dialogue to the relationship between the church and society in the 20th century.
With the Second Vatican Council, the church didn't introduce new doctrines. Instead, what it did was speak to the world with a different tone and a different language. John XXIII said it's not a time to condemn, but rather to explain the faith.
When debates got heated, Paul VI didn't stop the discussion, allowing instead the conversation to flow thoroughly. He also didn't give in to pressure of focusing on the media's talking points in their council meetings. He led without imposing his status as Pope, and above all else, he encouraged dialogue to run its course.
In news from Italy, when Bishop Giovanni De Lise of Caserta found out that Pope Francis was planning to meet with Giovanni Trattino, head of the Evangelical Church of the Reconciliation in Caserta, he wasn't going to let this opportunity pass him by. On July 10th, Father Federico Lombardi, Vatican spokesman, had said that the Pope hoped to visit Trattino in Caserta. When the news reached Bishop De Lise, he wrote to the Vatican asking if the Pope could add a quick stop to greet the town's Catholics, and His Holiness was happy to oblige. On July 26th, Pope Francis will go to Caserta in southern Italy to meet with local priests. He'll also celebrate a Mass. Pope Francis will return to the Vatican that evening, recite the Angelus with visitors in St. Peter's Square July 27th, then go back to Caserta July 28th for a private meeting with Trentino. As Cardinal Jorge Bergoglio, Pope Francis had headlined a large ecumenical charismatic gathering in Buenos Aires in 2006, along with Trentino. Well, that is all the information we have for you at this time. I'm Kate Andrews. Don't forget, you can keep up to date on Catholic news throughout the week with Catholic Newsbreak right here on the Catholic TV Network.